Imagine a world where every man is told he must be an alpha, the strongest, the loudest, the one who never shows weakness. This myth, born from misunderstood animal studies and pop culture, has shaped generations. But what if I told you the truth is far more complex and far more powerful? The sun rises over the ancient city-state of Sparta. Shields clatter, swords gleam, and the air vibrates with the chants of warriors. In this world, to be alpha is to lead, to protect, to endure. But even in Sparta, the greatest warriors were not just the fiercest, they were the wisest, the most disciplined, the most loyal to their brothers. He who sweats more in training bleeds less in war. The Spartans knew strength is not just in muscle, but in mind and spirit. For decades, the idea of the alpha male has dominated pop culture, self-help books, and social media. We're told the alpha is the strongest, the most aggressive, the one who commands others through fear and dominance, a natural leader born to rule. But this idea is not only outdated, it's based on a fundamental misunderstanding of nature itself. The origin of the alpha male idea traces back to early observations of wolves in captivity. In the 1940s, researchers like Rudolf Schenkel observed groups of unrelated wolves in artificial settings, zoos, enclosures, where conflict and forced hierarchies naturally emerged. From these dynamics, they concluded that one wolf, typically the most dominant, emerged as alpha, leading the others through sheer force. But this was not real wolf behavior in the wild. Later research, especially by biologist David Mech, revealed something astonishing. In nature, wolf packs are not made up of unrelated competitors. They're families. The alpha male is not a tyrant at the top of a social pyramid. He is a father, often leading alongside a female partner, guiding his offspring through knowledge, cooperation, and protection. Labeling a parent as an alpha is like calling a mother and father the alpha pair of their children. David Mech. In fact, Mech went so far as to request his early book be discontinued, because the term alpha had been taken out of context and misused. This misunderstanding isn't limited to wolves. Among baboons and other primates, being alpha doesn't mean living a life of ease, privilege, or pleasure. Instead, it often comes with intense physical and emotional costs. In a study published in Science, researchers found that dominant male baboons, those who held the top spot, experienced high levels of stress hormones, greater energy expenditure, and a constant need for vigilance. Being alpha really has energy consequences, said researcher El Jesquir. It's not the aggression that stresses them, it's the responsibility. The alpha male is not the happiest or the healthiest. He is the most burdened. He has to monitor the movements of other males constantly, guard his mating rights, fend off challengers, maintain control, even when tired or injured. And the moment he shows weakness, someone younger and stronger is ready to take his place. What this tells us is profound. Nature doesn't glorify dominance. It rewards cooperation, adaptability, and care. Real leadership, true alpha behavior, is not about posturing or intimidation. It's about responsibility, presence, and service to the group. In wolves, the leader is a father. In baboons, the leader pays a price. And in humans, perhaps, the healthiest kind of strength isn't brute force, but emotional intelligence, patience, and purpose. The popular alpha male stereotype fuels toxic masculinity, glorifying domination, while ignoring the emotional and social intelligence required to be a real leader. It teaches young men that to be strong they must be feared. But the truth is, strength isn't in control, it's in connection. Power doesn't lie in conquering others, it lies in understanding them. What if the modern alpha wasn't loud, violent, or constantly competing? What if he was grounded, not aggressive, protective, not possessive, aware, not afraid, leading by presence, not pressure? The future alpha is not the one who dominates the pack, but the one who keeps the pack whole by guiding, not pushing, by listening, not yelling, by serving, not seeking. We misread nature through the lens of competition, when so much of it is based in harmony, balance, and mutual survival. Being alpha is not a title, it's a responsibility, and for those who carry it, not just in nature, but in life. It is not a position of ease, but of constant presence and care. Maybe it's time to retire the myth and rediscover what real strength looks like. Beyond the alpha myth. The passage powerfully articulates a critical need to reevaluate traditional notions of masculinity, moving away from a destructive alpha male archetype towards a more constructive and empathetic model. It dismantles the harmful idea that dominance, aggression, and the suppression of emotion equate to strength, arguing instead that true influence and respect stem from a blend of confidence, kindness, and genuine contribution. The tyranny of the suppressed self. One of the most poignant points raised is the psychological toll of the alpha myth on young men. The societal pressure to be invulnerable, to never cry, never falter, creates an environment where emotional vulnerability is seen as a weakness. This enforced stoicism, however, is a breeding ground for significant mental health challenges, including depression and loneliness. The alarming statistics cited from the New York Times underscore a crisis where young men are disproportionately affected by suicide and struggle to reach traditional adult milestones. The alpha myth essentially tells them to internalize their pain, to suffer in silence, which is a direct contradiction of genuine strength. The power of authentic strength. The text champions a different kind of power, prestige. This isn't about inherited status or brute force, but about a reputation earned through a combination of assertiveness, kindness, cultivated skills, and a stable sense of identity. It's a leadership model that lifts others and serves a cause greater than themselves. This form of masculinity is not defined by conquest, but by contribution. It highlights that the most attractive and successful men are those who are well-rounded, capable, and emotionally intelligent, rather than those who simply exert dominance. Lessons from Sparta. Brotherhood over domination. The invocation of Spartan philosophy serves as a compelling metaphor. While often associated with martial prowess, the passage emphasizes a crucial, often overlooked aspect of Spartan strength: collective reliance. The strength of the warrior is the next man beside him perfectly encapsulates this idea. The phalanx, a formidable military formation, succeeded not because of individual heroes, but because each warrior trusted and supported the man next to him. This translates seamlessly to modern life, advocating for brotherhood, mentorship, and mutual support as foundational elements of a strong male identity. It's a call to foster community and collaboration, replacing ruthless competition with supportive camaraderie, embracing vulnerability and growth. Ultimately, the piece argues that true strength lies in vulnerability, the courage to acknowledge one's fears, admit mistakes, and seek help. This counterintuitive idea is central to breaking free from the cage of restrictive masculine ideals. It encourages continuous self-improvement. Train your body, yes, but also your mind and your heart, emphasizing that growth, compassion, and the willingness to learn are far more valuable than unyielding stoicism. The concluding lines serve as a powerful mantra for this redefined masculinity. The world remembers not the loudest, but the bravest, not the cruelest, but the kindest, not the one who stood above, but the one who stood with. It's a vision of men as leaders who serve, protectors who empathize, and individuals who find their greatest purpose, not in solitary conquest, but in shared humanity. What aspects of this redefinition resonate most with you, or perhaps surprise you? Raise your shield not just for yourself, but for those beside you. Let your strength be measured not by how many you conquer, but by how many you inspire. And when the world asks what it means to be an alpha, show them. A true leader is forged in fire, but tempered by empathy. This is the new era. This is the new alpha. This is you.